Look, Kelsey Mitchell, I don't want to get crazy. Get your people in check. I'm going to tell you right now, and it's going to be my last time. Get your people in check. I didn't even know about this post that your family taking shots at Caitlin Clark and all that. We dealt with this with Alyssa Smith and her brother. We couldn't wait to get her to fuck off this team.
Overnight, Kelsey Mitchell's entire family became the WNBA's petty avengers after Caitlin Clark was hurt. Yes, this isn't your typical courtside drama, so fasten your seatbelt. Oh no, this is a full-fledged family quarrel that is hotter than the fourth quarter of the playoffs. And you know what? Kelsey isn't even wearing it. Why, then, is everyone staring at Clark as if she had stolen their Thanksgiving parking space? Let's disentangle this spicily eyebrow-raising chaos.
Indiana Fever is imploding from within the locker room. And it's becoming apparent that there's beef that exists within this franchise, with comments coming out from family members, no less, of players on the Indiana Fever. And let's talk about that here, as Kelsey Mitchell's twin sister co-signed a post that was obviously negative about Caitlin Clark, and we're going to dig deeper into this thing right now.
Imagine witnessing someone claim to be the best Uber driver in the league after they've missed the exit 8 times. In essence, Kelsey Mitchell is attempting to manage an offensive. Definitely a certified bucket. Needless to say, a sharpshooter. However, a floor general is the type of player you can rely on to direct plays and encourage teammates. Non-less basketball is being redefined to mean that solo is ICO ball with vibes.
Oh, I thought we were over this. So this is a post here talking about this. Clark's delusional fans stay mad and call me all the names in the book, but we all saw, including y'all, who carries my Fever team. We all know who the offense should be ran through. Whether you like it or not, these two players can win some games without Clark, but Clark can't win a single game without them. Clark has not played a single game in her career without either Kelsey Mitchell or Aaliyah Boston, so nobody knows. I mean that. Nobody knows.
The Indiana Fever has been a living, breathing example of what occurs when someone makes a leadership error for over 10 years. Let's be truthful. Kelsey believes that dribbling will help the offense. When no one moved to rebound, the shot clock whimpered for assistance, jacking up a disputed jumper before seeming bewildered. Court vision. To find an available teammate, Sis would use a periscope. Attempting to operate a vending machine with a stick is analogous to her passing impulses. Awkward, misguided, and rarely provides what is required. It isn't defamatory. It's only a movie. Fans now want to pretend as though Kelsey has been out there giving money and improving everyone's life, but the math doesn't add up. 4. She guided the Fever to an incredible 25% win rate for almost 5 years. Yes, 25%. You could certainly win more games if you just closed your eyes and chose plays at random from a hat. They could have built a petrol station because the tanking was that powerful.
This is not great. You remember in the offseason, Kelsey Mitchell was a free agent. And for a long period of time, I got the sense that she actually came kind of close to not coming back to the Indiana Fever. And I'm going to tell you why. When I watch her play, there's plenty of times I'm like, she thinks she is the superstar on this team. All right? And look, she scored 29 points last night, right? She's a dynamic scorer. But her assist and rebounding is not where I want to see, quote unquote, somebody that's supposed to be the best player on the team. I bet in their eyes, that's not okay. It's not where it needs to be.
People were waiting for Kelsey to take over all this time. She did, but not in the manner they had intended. Because mayhem results when you put a ball-dominant scorer in charge of a struggling organization who has no desire to make a difference. Long twos are given to you. Colleagues who are experiencing existential crises in the middle of the day may question whether they are apparent. There are seasons, sadly, a trigger warning need to have been included on the scoreboard. However, the team appears to be in disarray now that Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark are on board, and Kelsey's family wants to act as though she has been cooking the entire time. This isn't Emerald Live, please. While awaiting ingredients, Kelsey wasn't boiling greatness. She was praying that the microwave heat checks she was throwing up would stick. It speaks a lot that the team didn't start winning until Caitlin entered the picture and Aaliyah had assistance at last. Oh, so the injury is actually a blessing. Really? Is that where we intend to take this? Caitlin Clark is fighting for her limbs on the ground. Meanwhile, everything is going on in the group chat. Perhaps now we'll resume playing actual basketball.
I need to put a disclaimer out there right now. This is not a shot at Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell hooping, Aaliyah Boston hooping. It is very clear. It is very clear when it comes to these players that these players and Caitlin are all on the same page. They want to win a championship. They want to win a championship together. This is not a knock on any of these players. This is absolutely not a knock on either of these players, by the way.
What is basketball? The one with losses that broke records. The one where the scoreboard glowed like a lost slot machine and Kelsey Mitchell was shooting 18 times a game. Let's avoid confusion. Kelsey is gifted. She is difficult. She has the confidence to lead an entire AAU tournament and a lethal step back. However, she is more of a scenic detour than a dependable path when it comes to executing an actual offense. The type of player that does best when someone else drives. In the paint, someone like Aaliyah Boston would be absorbing defenders like a sponge. Or Caitlin Clark, whether you like or dislike her, she delivers the ball to teammates with laser-guided accuracy. However, we watched the film before the new actors showed up. Fan hope was the only thing that detonated during the sad slow burn. Furthermore, let's not act as though the family commentary is unexpected. Unless they have spent hours, no, years, ranting over takeout, no one can create this degree of bitterness. These takes weren't created overnight.
Listen, if you gonna be on the Indiana Fever, from now on, when you sign up, you need to know. You need to have a talk with anybody in your inner circle and say, hey, do not say anything to downplay Caitlin Clark, or my job will be at risk. Period. This post, nah, we're not playing that game. I'm not playing that game with y'all. We not gonna be doing this. And I don't want to get crazy with Kelsey Mitchell because I rock with Kelsey. But it's like, bro, if we got to deal with this, you can go. You can go, bro. And I rock with Kelsey, but we're not doing that.
They are the result of lengthy car drives, phone conversations after games, and the odd outburst in a group chat. Kelsey has been telling them she was the vibes all along. So if the family is acting like Caitlin is wrecking the vibes, it's because of her. However, the figures are honest. It wasn't until she gave up attempting to be the team's main driver and allowed others handle the grunt work that things began to improve. When a real DJ arrives with a crowd, lights, and, real music, it's like watching someone attempt to DJ without speakers and then getting upset. When Caitlin Clark enters, everyone instantly recalls what an assist is. The distance between floors becomes actual. The movement of the ball returns. However, Kelsey's family is sending smoke signals in the background, such as, we forgot the last 8 years. We recall the number. We were present. We witnessed the game-ending bricks, the turnovers, and the ball halting. If anything, Caitlin's presence benefited Kelsey by relieving her of defenders, giving her space she had never had, and opening up the offensive like a window in a room full of smoke.
Kelsey Mitchell's sister had some things to say about Caitlin Clark, where she co-signed a post by someone else, which when you co-sign it and you agree and you repost it, well, that means you pretty much agree with it. And this is just another thing that's existing within this franchise. I'm telling you right now, I don't see how Caitlin Clark gets through 4 years in Indiana. There is so much hate. There's so much dislike. There's so much jealousy that I don't see how she gets through 4 years at Indiana. Or what we'll see is the team completely gutted and then rebuilt around her.
Still, the peanut gallery is attempting to persuade us that the squad would function better without her through this passive-aggressive PR campaign. Yes. In addition, I am the WNBA's commissioner. Let's just pretend that Kelsey Mitchell is the league's Luka Doncic and that we have all been too blind to recognize it. In actuality, some people are destined to be role players, great ones, skilled shooters who can hit daggers when necessary, and slug sagging defenses.
And it's okay.
That is worthwhile. However, not everyone is intended to be the focal focus. Not everyone is able to orchestrate because they lack the vision, tempo, and selflessness. Kelsey Mitchell has repeatedly demonstrated that she does best when someone else handles the grunt work. Thus, the expanded Mitchell fan club is the source of this current wave of Clark mistrust. They know deep down that it's desperate, not just delusional. Until someone arrived with a GPS, they knew the fever was going in circles. Thus, we get the passive digs, the cryptic Instagram likes, and the whispers that she doesn't fit. In the meantime, the assists, the scoreboard, and the overall play speed all indicate otherwise.
Clark is the superstar of this team. I don't think there's any confusion there. And there are statements made by members of her family, Kelsey Mitchell's, that tells you either Kelsey is having to listen to this from her family, or this is things they have sat down and talked about, or it has even been from her, for lack of a better way of putting it, bitching and pissing and moaning to the family that maybe she's not very happy.
Revisionist historians on a mission, however, are unreasonably stubborn. They don't care about the facts. They're looking for vibes. Ideally, Kelsey Mitchell is the unchallenged queen, and everyone else serves only as moral support. Here's the truth, though. You don't participate in the league for 8 years, miss the playoffs as is customary, and then abruptly declare yourself the best when the team eventually receives assistance. That isn't atonement. That would be shouting, "We made it at the finish line," while riding shotgun. Therefore, if there is animosity simmering behind the scenes, it might not be related to Caitlyn's interference. Perhaps it's because she's making everything public. The true killer is that none of this sideshow drama is fair to Caitlin Clark. When the woman joins a fragmented team, she instantly improves the offense, and all of a sudden, nobody wants to give her credit. She is literally making Kelsey Mitchell's and everyone else's numbers look better. They continue to act as though she is the issue.
So social media is not a real place. However, this crazy Kelsey Mitchell thing has gotten so out of hand. So here's what happened. Chelsea Mitchell, which is Kelsey Mitchell's twin sister, she made a comment on someone else's comment diminishing Caitlin Clark's importance as the offensive engine of the Indiana Fever and saying that they should really be running the offense through Kelsey Mitchell. So this Steve Brown person writes on Facebook, "Clark's delusional fans can stay mad and call me all the names in the book, but we all saw, including y'all, who carries my Fever team, and we all know who the offense should be run through."
Caitlyn's influence is like seasoning, really. As soon as she touches the floor, the entire dish begins to taste good. Shooters begin to resemble snipers rather than enthusiastic participants in a long-range lottery. Assists begin to flow, and spacing opens up. However, we are now witnessing the storyline devolve into a negative scene from the off-Broadway musical Jealousy. They would be throwing ticker tape parades if any other rookie had entered the game and improved their teammates' overall statistics. However, with Caitlyn, the question becomes, yeah, but is she really helping?
Oh.
Hurry up. Prior to Caitlyn, review Kelsey Mitchell's game log. It resembled a heartbreak Spotify playlist that was stuck on repeat. Efficiency was a choice. Choosing a shot was a risk, as well as assistance. The team had, in fact, eliminated that word from their collective lexicon. Kelsey begins cooking as if someone had finally given her a legitimate recipe when CC arrives. Let's call it what it is: a diversion, a jealous, passive-aggressive cloud of gibberish attempting to dampen someone else's contribution since the spotlight changed. If someone in Kelsey's orbit is truly casting that shade, it's not subtle at all. Giving is what it is. No one else can be the main character if I can't.
Spoke about this last week, man, when I told y'all Caitlin Clark relationship with these players when that video came out and they really didn't acknowledge her. Now, I'm not saying this is Kelsey Mitchell's fault, but y'all know the old saying John the Liquidator says is looking real spooky. Now, Kelsey Mitchell, I believe this is her sister, went on social media, and this snuck through the wire. So shout out to all of the Caitlin Clark fans that kind of found this. And to make a long story short, I believe she deleted her Twitter account after this post was released because I cannot find an inkling of that Twitter account.
To be honest, Kelsey Mitchell always seemed to have too many voices in her head. Outside voices, not defenders, mind you. The kind that made small setbacks become big plots. Her body language occasionally showed it. The weight of other people's opinions was obviously greater than the basketball itself, as evidenced by the stiff shoulders and flashing eyes. And now that this off-court drama is making its way into the public eye, it just supports our suspicions. Somewhere, a peanut gallery is spreading lies about her being ignored, denigrated, and overshadowed, but in reality, Caitlin Clark's presence is the only thing making this offense appear even somewhat competent. It will be difficult not to give her a sidelong glance if Mitchell doesn't speak up soon quiet. Because let's face it, this is more than just rumors these days. Which would be very upsetting because this is professional athletics, not high school basketball politics. Sitting quietly while your folks hurl darts at you is the least you can do if someone is making your life easier on the court and drawing fire, so you may shoot in peace.
Kelsey Mitchell on the Indiana Fever says nothing but positive things about Caitlin Clark. This should in no way reflect what is coming out of Kelsey's mouth. Now, are there moments where Kelsey Mitchell can potentially have said something along these lines, like, I don't get enough credit on the team, and if you're a family member, you back your family members like 1,000%? That's possible, but that is something we don't know. All I know is everything that I have seen from Kelsey Mitchell, from interviews, from every single post-game interview, from All-Star Weekend. I actually was with her last night in the post-game interview, and she was not at all diminishing Caitlin Clark's importance.
Furthermore, let's not act as though this timing is coincidental. Caitlin is down, recovering from an injury, and for once, she is exposed. Naturally, the petty parade is about to begin, with sarcastic family comments, murmurs of disapproval, and an odd fixation with downplaying her influence. It's clear, it's planned, and this is just blatantly cruel. No one is advocating for you to worship the earth, she walks on. However, perhaps don't attempt to remove her contributions at a time when she is literally recuperating from weeks of bearing the team. This gossip is desperate, like a scramble to take back control of the story before everyone discovers the truth. Whether folks like it or not, Clark is now the driving force behind this offense after coming on board and adjusting more quickly than anyone anticipated. This entire situation demonstrates that some people would sooner burn down the kitchen than acknowledge that someone else brought the proper ingredients. Since Caitlin didn't merely bring up, she increased expectations on the floor. People resumed their viewing. Then came the headlines. The statistics became better. However, it only took one injury for the anti-Clark faction to emerge like summertime cicadas, chatting about ball domination and team dynamics as if we hadn't all been watching the same games.
I'm tired of the drama. Now here's a new page of this story. So Kelsey Mitchell's family member basically co-signed with this Caitlin Clark hater tweet on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever. Just a straight up messed up post. And the family member claims they didn't do that. I don't believe it. They did. I guarantee Kelsey Mitchell spoke about this with them personally. This didn't come out of nowhere. This did not come out of nowhere. I know family members can be zealous sometimes, and they have rose-colored glasses, and they're gonna ride with their family member through and through and say the craziest stuff.
Even worse, opposing teams aren't the source of this energy. It's within. It stems from internal jealousy that is covered in worry, yet seeping with gloom. Kicking someone when they're down is not a classy way to express yourself. Nothing exists. Consider putting your best player on the bench because you don't want to share the limelight. Furthermore, allowing your family to perform your dirty job for you through speculative remark and side interviews is definitely not acceptable. The entire incident could have served as a rallying cry, a time to support one another, and an opportunity to demonstrate how unique this new Fever squad truly is. However, it has instead become a whisper campaign directed at the one individual who has done the most to alter the course. The issue is not Clark. They are too preoccupied with pursuing greatness, competing, and working together. Perhaps it is time for some introspection rather than anonymous jabs and side remarks. Because if you are unable to identify when someone is simplifying your life on the court, then perhaps the true problem isn't who shines, but rather who is unable to manage.
Guys, this is a relative of Kelsey Mitchell. Now, I told y'all, man, a lot of these ladies did not like Caitlin Clark, and it's clear today their family really don't care about them either. Now, one thing I will say, and I have to be honest here, no one would have knew who the hell Kelsey Mitchell was if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. I am sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but hell, no one knew who Kelsey Mitchell was. We have to realize this. Y'all was not driving up viewerships before Caitlin got there. Y'all wasn't selling out arenas before Caitlin got there.